Congress passed the plan Friday night, but only 3 Republicans bought into the $787 billion price tag. They argue the package guarantees deficit spending on liberal priorities, but won't produce enough jobs fast enough. Among the outspoken critics is the man who on election night voiced hope of working with his campaign rival. Here in his home state with us for an exclusive conversation is Senator John McCain. Senator, thanks for joining us. And let's start on that point. And I just tried to get Robert Gibbs. Was this a skirmish over philosophical differences? Republicans don't like this bill. Or was it the beginning of a partisan war? People in your party coming to the calculation, let's just say no.
I don't know the answer to that. I do say in all candor that it was a bad beginning. It was a bad beginning because it wasn't what we promised the American people, what President Obama promised the American people, that we would sit down together. Look, I appreciate the fact that the president came over, talked to Republicans. That's not how you negotiate a result. You sit down together in a room with competing proposals. Almost all of our proposals went down on a party line vote. Now, I hope that with the next issue, that TARP will be coming up again, more money. I hope the next time we will sit down together and conduct truly bipartisan negotiations. This was not a bipartisan bill.
Well, if we're going to do that moving forward, part of that is the spirit. You've given your promise right here. You want to do that. He's going to be right here in your home state talking about foreclosures. It's a terrible problem in the state. Will you stand with him and send a signal you're still willing to work with him, or does he have to prove something to you first?
The president doesn't have to prove anything to me. I will be in another part of the state, which I had previous plans to be. But I'm pleased that he's coming here. People here in Phoenix and across our state are hurting very badly, the housing crisis. And I'm sure that he is very welcome here. But the point is, this bill was not bipartisan. It is incredibly expensive. It has hundreds of billions of dollars in projects which will not yield in jobs. Now, if you think we need to improve education, spend money for it, fine. But this was supposed to be a package that was going to create jobs. A lot of this package will not create jobs. A lot of the tax cuts we've tried before of just giving people some money, it hasn't changed the way that savings have been conducted by Americans. So I'm not happy, and most of us aren't, at the lack of true bipartisanship in approaching this legislation.
And let's go into the process just a little bit more, because it's 1,000 pages. It's 8 pounds. We had it FedExed out to us here. It is 8 pounds. We're contributing to the economy just having it shipped out here. Some of the changes were literally hand scribbled on the side of the page. This happens all the time, unfortunately. Well, if it's the old business as usual, didn't President Obama promise a new way of doing things in Washington? You say it was a terrible start. Are you sitting in your office these days saying, I told you so?
No, I'm sitting in my office and saying, look, there's a lot of issues that we've got to face. These are the worst, most difficult challenges, foreign and domestic, perhaps we have faced, and certainly in our lifetimes. So let's start over now and sit down together. But yes, candidate Obama said that these conferences would be open to the public, said that the American people would have 5 days to view it on the internet. There was commitments made that are certainly not being kept now. And maybe it's all because of their sense of emergency, but it's not what they said they were going to do. And finally, could I just say, Republicans were guilty of this kind of behavior. I'm not saying that we did things different, but Americans want us to do things differently, and they want us to work together.